Yeah, I mean the heat does something with you. Okay. But before, always to Yahweh, Shem Shai, Shem Kadosh, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. You know, first my flat, there's a not hole but something in the roof, which there comes water when it rains to the walls basically, not directly the walls but the roof top, which is out of wood. So really crazy. It's not too how can I say too extreme, right? So it's not a full water bath, but it's you know, like a blood bath, but it's yeah, the bed is really the bed is completely wet after that, and it's crazy. Okay, which yeah, and then you have the heat on the other side wherever you go. Right now, for example, I just forgot my water. Okay, lucky if I don't if I don't lose my consciousness, right? Now, but you know, the heat does something, I would say. Yeah, that's where I want to have the sound, but it's difficult to train it. So that's where I want to have the sound sooner or later. Like you heard a little bit the tone that comes. Forgot something. Yeah, today we will read in the Ecclesiastes, not in the Psalms, in the book of Ecclesiastes. Yeah. You can only imagine what it was for Yahweh. I mean the book of Proverbs, Sake. For Yahweh to survive in the desert. Okay. I myself, for example, I hate heat, right? I hate heat because really it fucks with my brain. Like I already have brain anomalies. Not sicknesses, but I would say anomalies. Yeah. And we will read from chapter 26. A snow in summer, yeah, that's what I wish for. Imagine you have sun like that, at the same time snow freshening you up, but that's not possible because the snow has a long way, and until it's down, it already is dried out, right? The frozen, the snowflakes, frozen snowflakes. A snow in the summer, and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seen before a fool. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Yeah, and also AI, for example, somebody taught me AI has, on one side it's a curse and on the other side it's a blessing. yeah, I would agree, right? AI, right? So let's read it again. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Yeah, like 50 years ago, I don't know the exact number, but I believe around 50 years ago, you had in the school classes still the teachers hitting the back of the children just to make sure that they stay maybe awake, or at least they can they can they can concentrate, or maybe not acting as fools. Also it depends. Just somebody told me even about his little brother, you know recently, and he said, and that I don't know what the birds always sound like. They sound as if they want to disturb people under them. I mean, um, what I wanted to say is, if, for example, you had, hello, for example, you had the little brother in the kindergarten, and he learned maybe words in the kindergarten which are not words that you should hear in the kindergarten. And guess what? That has to do with the how some people say the criminality, the crime rate, right, raising on a ultra high, right. It has to do with, for example, migrants having jobs in kindergartens. Okay, they cannot even speak German, right, but the job center or any other agency gives them jobs in the kindergarten. Okay, when they don't even able to say a full sentence in German, or people in general, okay, that raise their kids as if the Western, ABC, DEF ideology is some completely normal stuff, which all this pushes children directly into a certain frame of mind, I would say, right? And guess what? It's also, of course, yeah, the fact that, as an overseer of the city is, the same are the people that live in that city, and what is our people that watch over us here in Germany. Yeah, basically criminals, right? So it's no wonder that in children, when they go to the kindergarten, right, or in the school, which you have complete Nazi schools already in 2026. That's completely freaked out, right? Just imagine you go to a school and you have a fully established Nazi system there, okay, where even the teachers support it. That's possible in modern day Germany, okay? So it's always, that left-wing, right-wing thing, but in the end, nobody cares if it's one of that both in an extreme way. And guess what? Then you have also of course, migrants, which are really worth to have here, right? But the crime rate in general is super out of control. I mean, it's just, you have criminals saying about what they do. Yeah, we do that maybe for years now, and the only country where you can do it is Germany, right? So Germany is basically a whole other level of crime. Okay. Yeah, but when I was in the kindergarten, I knew maybe one or two words like Dummkopf or something, or some of that system, I don't know, right? But not what they know today, all that stuff. Okay. And so not a fool, according so it was maybe a good thing 50 years ago. It was at least more honest, was at least benefiting the children more, I believe, not pushing them into those A, B, C, D, F ideologies. Also, also you would say they behave better. Ultimately, oftentimes I would say. But was it a world compared to now? No. Okay, no technology. Um, you had you had crimes where you have 20, 30, 40 years nobody finding out about crimes. Okay, that's why believing in the Bible makes so sense, because people think they can go away with everything, right? But then, even if there still comes a judgment from on high, even if, okay, which I at least believe that, okay. So don't think I don't think this is some free will stuff or something, where you can go away with everything. I don't believe that, but people actually believe that, and guess what? Yeah, oftentimes. But it's not the last having to go away, okay? Because your crimes are written in heaven, okay? As yeah, a whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a what for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet and drinketh damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. As he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is the parable in the mouth of fools. The great God that formed all things, both rewarded the fool and rewarded transgressors. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. But you can say the folly is the world, okay? Which I don't understand people who are on the truth, and then they say, oh, like I can understand if sometimes you have a little bit more stress maybe than other days. You might not do as much videos maybe the one week as the other week. I mean, I don't know, but what I cannot understand is if you really turn back to your vomit like a cave, yeah, like the cave people. Okay, the cave people don't understand how important it is to have faith in something higher than your own consciousness. There's always something higher than your own consciousness. There's always also something stronger than you. Okay, I can I cannot beat a silverback gorilla. Okay, or how do you call it? Hippo. Yeah, whatever. Nashorn, right? The thing with the horn. Forgot the name. Yeah. Why? Especially back in the days, I cannot beat I cannot beat a T-Rex, okay, or a Spinosaurus, right, or the ancient the ancient pig, the ancient monster pig, right? I told you that in one camp. I told you about the ancient monster pig. right? Which this was really a tyranny of its time, okay? Nothing could compare to the ancient pig, okay, which was a pig with strong and big teeth, okay. Or in the water you have the Mosasaurus, right? Also the prince of the waters, okay. So strong that even a group of sharks, okay, wouldn't fight it, or even the great mega. I always forget the name. Megalodon, right? Even Megalodon. I believe they lived in a little bit of different times, but even Megalodon couldn't match up with this stuff. It was basically a giant water exe, okay? What you call it? Exe. Like the thing on the land, which, the looking like a dragon going with his feet, right? Which you have today, still a species which is the I don't. They live on this island. They have this tongue, the snake tongue, but they walk like a walking dragon, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, just forgot the name. Yeah, but it started like that, and then this thing, as they say, moved into the waters, and then it grew bigger, and then it turned to be Mosasaurus, which was the ancient monster in the seas, right? Yeah, which they did a test with the with the teeth, so it's really, no comparison, man. He had a mouth that can take off whole pieces of, for example, a great white shark or something, just with one bite, okay? Like a whole piece. That's crazy. Yeah. And how do you want to beat that stuff? And how do you want today beat? If you're super, let's say you are super muscular, right? I want you to see. I want you to fight. I want to see a fight uh, uh, with you and a silverback gorilla. Okay. I want to see who wins. Guess what? It will at least not be an easy fight, I would say. Basically, your consciousness is not the end of the world. The super consciousness, okay, which has every knowledge over everything, okay. Yeah, and because of that, or at least what I do, I have faith that there's at least some greater power that knows about science, that knows about yeah, the evil doings of the elites and stuff, because if not, then really you have no hope. Okay, if your only hope is yourself, then really you can't. Let's say you survive this world, right? Maybe you survive, but yeah, I think there's a higher chance to survive. Okay, if you don't leave it, if you put everything to yourself. Okay, surviving. Yeah. So that's trust. That's trusting in God, right? Because yeah. You see, that's also verse 12. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. Yeah, because there's always also somebody wiser than you, somebody more intelligent than you, somebody more uh, that can do better skateboard tricks than you, who has a bigger car than you. Okay. I understand that women work a little bit like that. Okay, they always look for for the man with the better watch, right, or the man with the better car, right, or the man with the better demons, you know, with with more demons on him. Okay, who knows? There is no definition of having more demons on someone. Somebody can have a bigger car than you and less demons than you. Okay, so I would be careful with that stuff. But what I would say is that especially Western women, especially not especially Western women, also I don't know, Dubai and even Asian, but as far as I see here, oftentimes you have to really take effort in finding a woman, I would say. Yeah, but Western women, I don't know, there's something special about them. Maybe it's the spirit, maybe a little bit that comes from their forefathers. Yeah, I believe that is it, because I don't even believe that finding a woman somewhere else is easier. I don't even believe that at all anymore. But who knows? There is at least something which makes them a little bit more hating you, okay, for some reason. Yeah, because let's be honest, they support what they think is best, and what they think is best is a white family, okay, whatever white is, you know, like this is not even white, okay, this is not even white, this is gray, this here is white, white power bank, okay, just like the clouds here. I don't know if you can see it, or if you are too stupid to know what white is. Then guess what? The beautiful clouds, the beautiful power bank, okay, it's more closer to the truth than you. Yeah, but they teach that their children, I don't know why, okay, in the West they teach their children that they are white, okay, white, the definition of even the Bible says it, yeah, the definition of harmless, you know, loving, kind, beauty, okay, without sin, without fault, you know, crazy, man. People don't understand the powers of words, right? With words you can basically make a nation look completely bogged out, which Israel, you know, prophets on the streets doesn't look so bogged out anymore, okay, with Corona 2021, okay, even the last scoffer and the last cave monkey out there knows that this Corona thing was not a gentleman's incident, okay. I don't have to watch Ben unscripted, right, or anything to see that, okay. And then they say it comes from China, but today you have still stuff coming out saying it was this or it was that and this and that and this. What was it now exactly? It was not what you think. It is. The slothful man said, "There is a lion in the way and a lion in the streets. As the door turned up upon his hinges, so doeth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom, it grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason." he that passed by and meddled with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh a dog by the ears, as a madman who casteth firebrands, hours, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and said, am not I in sport. Yeah, sport, deceiving your neighbor and stuff. I don't know, there's a lot of deceivings day by day. Yeah, and that's what I also don't like about heat. There's really heat everywhere, then it's really hard to do anything, which, yeah, some people live in countries like that, and they figured out methods and ways to undergo the heat that really messes with people's brains, especially if you don't drink enough. Drinking enough is very important, and yeah, but for example, your camera device at camp is just like your body. Okay, when there's overly much heat, then your camera device will fuck up just like mine did 20 minutes ago. So I had to install the camera somewhere else, because otherwise it would be not possible to start the camera even. Yeah. Yeah, but to wake up early is still better, and to try it is still better than sleeping until afternoon. And the heat is also fucking you up in the afternoon, not just in the morning. So really, today it started already in the morning, right? I woke up early in the morning. At least I was able to cook for myself a little bit something. That is good. Okay, vegetables, a lot of good stuff. But that all won't help me uh, to win against the heat, because the heat really, yeah. You have no Klimaanlage at home. You have some wind devices, right? Makes wind here and there, but even that is not enough. Okay, maybe you have a super big one. Yeah, costs a lot of money. Okay, I don't know. But you have a little one also. For extreme situations, which I suggest recommend having such things, especially if you travel in trains or something where you have a lot of people. Okay, like the air. Okay, it's really dangerous. Okay. Yeah. So is the man that deceived his neighbor and said, am not I in sport? Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out, where there is no tale-bearer, the strife ceaseth. Tale-bearer. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a continuous man to kindle strife. The words of a tale-bearer are as wounds, and they go down into the uttermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembled with his lips, and layeth up deceit with him. When he speaketh, fair believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. 27. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy and sand weighty, but a fool's breath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Yeah, envy is another topic which I went through a lot the recent years, maybe. And the reason for that is, if you're not dead, then of course your neural system has automatic functions, which automatic functions are you have words describing some neurological problems in your flesh, but the neurological problems in your flesh are not to fight with more evil. Okay, I can understand, we have a little bit provocative society. Okay, so let's say provocative in a way where women are provocative with their how they wear their clothes and stuff. Okay, that's of course provocative. At least if you have a functional, healthy body, then of course you would say, you sometimes even need a little bit pause from all this ABCDF stuff, okay? Or you just hear people in the politics talking, and you already know who really speaks out of them. Okay, it's basically those ideologies borked into other words. Okay, so they build round about it. Okay, to support all these things. Yeah, and of course that sometimes messes up your dogs and your mind. But if you're too weak, of course, then you will end up suicidal. Or you will end up believing no longer in the truth and stuff. Yeah. Like it's really not the best time to be all depressed, right? But yeah, I would say it's of course a little bit difficult here and there to come out of depression. It has to do maybe with what you see or what you don't see. Okay, what you know, what is around you. Okay, Satan is not creative, so Satan is not creative. Okay, so Satan cannot hide really what he does, okay? Satan cannot hide really what he does. So, yeah, it's not best to say everything is because of Satan, but Satan, of course, takes a big part in this deception. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighs you, but a fool's worth is heavier than both. Yeah, let's read from verse 8. As a bird that wandered from her nest, so is a man that wandered from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so do it. The sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and be punished, and are punished. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blessed his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, and shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and a continuous woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her, hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which bewrayed itself. Iron sharpened iron, so man sharp the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waited on his master shall be honored. As in water face answered to face, so the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. Yeah, I would say there's a little bit difference between people who are orphans, right? Like, you have people that are orphans, you have people who have no such experience. I would say that does something with your general view on life and friendship, even, I would say. Okay, I can't describe it fully, but but I would say it's a really different experience compared to what other people experienced. Okay, I would lie if I would say that does not something with even me, of course, which means I don't think that I'm in a specific position. Okay, that it messes different with me, but I would say there's a difference between people who experience something like that, being an orphan or not, in general. Okay, that's what I can say for sure. How it looks in the end from brother to brother, I don't know. Okay, but yeah, but it's not a benefit, I would say. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so do it the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity for this. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. Here it even would make sense to read maybe those chapters in another version also, just to have the comparisons. I don't say that it's really good to read everything in another translation, but yeah. And the fucked up thing about being an orphan is also that the day when it happens, the longer it goes back, actually the worse it gets. So it actually you would say, yeah, it's already 10 years ago, okay, but the 11th year makes it even worse. So really it's just it's just again nothing that you can experience without experiencing it. And the more days, the more hours, the more years pass, actually the worse it gets. That has to do with, again, benefits and no benefits, just like we know about other things. Okay. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blessed his friend with a loud voice rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a continuous woman are alike. Whosoever hideth here, especially that financial hole gets bigger year by year. Okay, especially that. Okay, most like depends. Some may have a parent that dies and he left maybe $1 million on his bank account. That is also the case. Not with me. She just left debts. Okay, but like I said, it also depends from experience to experience. But being an orphan in general or not is the main experience. He that blessed his friend with a loud voice rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a continuous woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind. And yeah, sometimes you don't even speak to women because you know already how they are if you're longer with them. It depends, because I would say it's always worth a try. You know, like it can just be a day where that woman is maybe behaving a little bit different, but most of the time, I would say, if you see a woman, you already know if she's really how she seems to be. And yeah, then maybe you see that she's really a little bit too loud, or a little bit too talking too much for your taste or whatever. But that can also change, you know. For example, women that are very your taste, but then turns out 2 years later, okay, that they can change from that person to a completely different person, all of a sudden being a complete being a complete bitch, okay, sleeping with other men, okay, who knows? Thou shouldest spray a fool in a mortar among reed with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doeth the crown endure to every generation. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass sheweth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goats' milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance of thy maidens. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. For the transgression of a land many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge the state thereof shall be prolonged. A poor man that oppressed the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaveth no food. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law content with them. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though be he bewitched. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous man shameth his father. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination. Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his He shall fall himself into his own pit, but the upright shall have good things in possession. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that had understanding searcheth him out. When righteous men do rejoice, there is a great glory, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. He that covered his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confessed and forsaketh them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a roaring bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that wanted understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hated covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit, let no man stay him. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. He that hasted to be rich had an evil eye, and considered not that poverty shall come upon him. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find more favour than he that flattereth with the tongue. Whoso robbed his father or his mother, and said, It is no transgression, the same as the companion of a destroyer. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. He that trusted in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely shall be delivered. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eye shall have many a curse. Yeah, sometimes I don't even trust those people who ask for money. You cannot give every last person money who asks for it, because sometimes they actually do better than you. I understand, even if you have nothing, okay, give something, but sometimes it's just too extreme, okay? Especially if you have 10 on one street, okay, and they all, for some reason, look either one way they are a criminal group, on the other way they are just doing that as a hobby, okay, looking as they have more to eat than you, basically, almost. Okay. Yeah. That's why I have no problem with people who are not vegan or vegetarian, okay? Because you have actually animals doing better than humans, a lot better. Maybe not more animals than humans, but I don't know, man. Okay, that can also not be the answer. So I'm vegan, vegetarian, but I understand people who are not like that. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord, and an unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Yeah, anyway, double honors to the elders and apostles of great wisdom, and all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, and Shai, Hashem,